Hi, church. It's Miss Joy and
Miss Judy.
and we're here for week number 4 of our Summer Family Fun weekly update. And so today, being week 4, we're on to growing. The first 2 weeks we talked about seeds. Then last week we talked about roots and all that came with that. So today we're going to get to talk about some growing. And when I'm thinking about growing, Miss Judy, I'm thinking about my kids, how they always wish they were taller. And my son, even though he's now 6'2", he really wishes he hit 6'5" or 6'4", because that's how tall he wanted to be. But there was nothing I could do to make him grow taller. What do you think?
I come from a family of very short people, and my girls are not even as tall as I am. I thought for sure they'd be taller, but one is 5 foot and one is 5'1" and 3/4. But you know what? That's how God created them to be, and they've discovered that being that height is just right for them.
Right. So there's really nothing we can do to help us grow taller. We just have to. We're going to be however tall God planned for us to be. Same thing with our ages. I bet there are some of you out there who wish that you were a little bit older because you want to not be in the booster seat in the car anymore. You want to be able to sit in the seat like everybody else and just use a seatbelt. Or maybe you want to be able to ride in the front seat, and you have to be a certain age. You have to be, I believe, 12 in order to ride in the front seat. Or you might even be older and you want to be able to learn. You can't wait till you're 16 and you get to learn how to drive. But you can't change your age. Or you can't push yourself to get any older. And those of us who are older, we
often want to be younger. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Right. We're the age that we are because we have our birthdays each year. So those are two things, our height and our age, that we can't do anything about. It is what it is. So with this thought about growing and what do we need, Miss Judy, for our bodies to grow healthy?
Well, we need food, we need sleep, we need to go to the doctor.
We need to have
healthy
water. We need clean water.
Absolutely.
We need all of those things, and that's going to help us grow to be the height and that we're supposed to be, and help us get to each birthday so that we keep growing and being able to do all of the things we're meant to do here while we're here.
Absolutely.
And speaking of growing, and this summer we're talking about plants. I'm here at Miss Judy's house, and I saw this absolutely beautiful plant that she has out here on her deck. And so, Miss Judy, this is obviously enjoying being in this pot. What does this plant need to grow?
Well, first of all these plants within this pot require sunlight. So I have it in a nice sunny location. I've also discovered that this plant likes water. So I make sure that I water it, and it's very heavy after I've finished with that. And I also feed it some food, some plant food. So it's getting the nutrients it needs. It's a happy plant.
Well, it definitely looks that way. So we've now known what our body needs to grow and what plants need to grow. So what do we need for God's love to grow in us? That a seed has been planted in our hearts of God's love, but now we need it to grow. And one thing that we can use to help us with that is our Bibles. And this happens to be the Spark Story Bible that many of you have at home. And the Bible is a very important place where you can see God's love in the Bible, or to see it in the stories. And you learn a lot about God by reading about Jesus and all of the things that Jesus did. He lived in a way that cared for all people. It didn't matter whether they were tall or short or young or old. Jesus cared about all people everywhere in God's creation. So when you live that way,
that's right,
everyone can see God's love growing and growing and growing. And
absolutely.
So we have a little thing here we're going to show you, just a little fun science thing, because that's what we like to do at Summer Family Fun. So I'm going to put some...
What's in the glass already?
We have water and baking soda. And so I just added some dish detergent. And so now, what do you think's going to happen if I add some lemon juice to this water that has baking soda and dish detergent? I'm thinking there's going to be some bubbles. Because why else would they tell us to add dish detergent? What do you think, Miss Judy?
And I think there will be some kind of reaction involving bubbles.
Let's see. I'm
So
going
let's
to move
watch
this in
and
a little
see.
bit. So let's see. Whoa! Look at that. Now that grew fast. That's a lot of bubbles in a really quick amount of time. But unfortunately, we don't grow that fast. We don't get old that fast. And our love for God certainly doesn't grow that fast.
That is right. And you know, as we're growing in God's love and learning a lot from our Bibles, it sometimes takes time to get into habits for doing that daily. But the important thing is that we're always trying, and you will see that over time, your ability to show God's love will increase and increase as you get older.
Right. So, you can start thinking about growing a habit of reading a different Bible story about Jesus every day. Our Spark Story Bible has a lot. You can look in the table of contents, and you can see here in the New Testament stories, because the New Testament is where we find all the stories about Jesus. There are so many stories, pages and pages. And so when you read those I'm more and more. When you read those stories and see how Jesus cared for others, then you can do the same thing. You can check on somebody who's feeling sad or is crying and see if there's something that you can do to help. You can take time to listen to somebody if they're needing somebody to talk to. What else might you do?
Well, I had a couple examples in church the other morning, and one was if somebody hurts your feelings, you can show forgiveness towards that person.
Jesus
and work
definitely
hard to,
did that.
Yeah, work
Think
hard
about
to be
what
their
he
friend.
did with
Yes.
Judas.
That's right. That is right.
Or doubting Thomas.
And the other thing is, if you see somebody who's feeling lonely or seems to be left out of playground activities, for instance, make sure to invite them. Those are a couple of examples that you'll be able to put into practice as school gets started in the fall.
That's great ideas.
Yeah.
So it's not always easy, but other people, it's not easy, but when you do those things, other people are going to see God's love growing in you, and it might help them help the seed in their heart start to grow too. And so you'll be helping everybody else grow their love with God also.
Absolutely.
So that is the end of our time today. I'm excited to see many of you tomorrow at Summer Family Fun Nights at the park.
That's right.
Make sure you get there a little bit early because parking has been tough. So we're going to start right at 6:30. So if you want to bring a picnic dinner and get there early and snag a parking spot, that would be a great way to do it. And then this Friday we have our second movie night, which is Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. And so we'll be excited to see you at those events. The emails, this weekly update email has more of the details, and we hope to see you there.
Sounds great, Miss Joy.
All right, well, everybody take care, and we'll see you next
Bye-bye.
week.